This is the mixed exercise at the end of chapter 1. Okay, question 1. I've got y cubed times y to the 5. I'm multiplying, so I simply add the indices. In part B, I've got 3 times 2 is 6. X squared times x to the 5, add the indices, gives me x to the 7. Right, in this question here, I'm going to have 4 cubed times x squared cubed divided by 2x to the power 5. Well, that's going to give me 64. X squared cubed is x to the 6 divided by 2x to the 5, which is going to give me 32. And then x to the 6 divided by x to the 5 is x to the 1, subtracting the indices. And in part D here, I've got 4 times 3 is 12. B squared times b cubed times b to the 4, add those indices, b to the 9. Okay, question 2. Right, I'm going to expand these brackets here. So I'm going to have x times x. Now, I'm going to have x times minus 5 from here, and another plus 3x's from there. So I'm going to end up with minus 2x's and minus 15. Part B, I'm going to have 2x times 3x, 6x squared. Now my x's, I'm going to get 2x from there, and minus 21x gives me minus 19x. Minus 7 times plus 1 is minus 7. That's the end. And part C here, let's write this here, 2x plus 5, lots of 3x, minus y plus 2. The first thing I'm going to do is 2x lots of the second bracket. So I'm looking at the second bracket and I'm multiplying each term by 2x. 6x squared minus 2xy plus 4x. Now I'm going to do 5 times the second bracket. So I'm looking at the second bracket. I'm going to multiply every term by 5. 5 times minus y and 5 times plus 2. And now I'm going to see if I can simplify this. I've got 6x squareds minus 2xy's plus 19x minus 5y plus 10. So that is number 2 done. Right, moving on to number 3. Right, 3a, I'm going to multiply out those second 2 brackets first. It's going to give me x squared. Now I'm going to have minus an x and plus 4x, so plus 3x and minus 4 at the end. So if I multiply out that final bracket, x cubed plus 3x squared minus 4x. Now let's have a look at b. I'm going to multiply out these last 2 brackets first, copy down the x plus 2, and multiply out those last 2 brackets. X squared, I'm going to have plus 7x and minus 3x, so plus 4x minus 21. Now, I'm going to multiply each of the terms in the second bracket by the x first. So I'm looking at the second bracket, and I'm multiplying each term by x. And now I'm going to look at the second bracket and multiply each term by 2. Minus 42. So now I'll look to see if I can simplify this expression here. Altogether I've got 6x squareds minus 21 plus 8, that's the x's, so I've got minus 13 x's and minus 42 at the end. Right, now let's look at question C. I've got 2x plus 3 multiplied by x plus 2 multiplied by 3x minus 1. So I'm going to copy down the 2x plus 3, and I'm going to multiply out those second 2 brackets. 3x squared. Now, minus an x and minus 6x's gives me minus 7x's and plus 2. Now I'm going to multiply my second bracket by 2x plus 3. So I'm going to look at the second bracket and multiply everything by 2x. Okay, and now I'm going to look at the second bracket and multiply everything by plus 3. 9x squared minus 21x plus 6. All right, so that gives me 6x cubed minus 14x squared plus 9x squared is minus 5x squared plus 4x minus 21x minus 17x plus 6 at the end. And that is question 3 done. Moving on to question 4. Right, I need to expand this bracket in question A. 3 lots of 5y plus 4 is going to be 15y plus 12. Okay, expand this bracket in B. I'm going to look at everything in the second bracket and multiply it by 5x squared. 15x squared minus 25x cubed plus 10x to the power 4. Okay, I'm going to copy down question C and solve it here. It's 5x lots of 2x plus 3 minus 2x lots of 1 minus 3x. So 5x times that bracket is 10x squared plus 15x minus 2x times 1 is 2x minus 2x times minus 3x is plus 6x squared. And I can simplify that now to 16x squared plus 13x. Now I've just got part D to do, which is here. So I'm going to multiply out the first bracket, excuse me, 3x squared times the first bracket, 3x squared times 1 plus 9x cubed minus 2x times 3x, 6x squared plus 4x. Now, can I simplify that? Yes, I can. I've got 9x cubes. 3x squared minus 6x squared gives me minus 3x squared plus 4x at the end. And that is question 4 complete. Question 5, factorising. Right, in question A, I'm going to look for a common factor first. I see I can take out an x lots of 3x plus 4, and that's A finished. Now B, again, look for a common factor. I can take out 2y this time. Leaves me with 2y plus 5. Of course, you can multiply these out in your head. Check you're getting back to what you started with. In C, can you take out a common factor? Yes, you can. You can take out an x. Leaves me with x times x plus y squared. And in D, can I take out a common factor here? Yes, I can. I can take out a 2, an x, and a y. Leaves me with 4y plus 5x. And that is question 5. Question 6. Right, we're factorising. This one is going to factorise into 2 brackets. I'm going to have an x and an x. I multiply to a positive to plus 2 and add to a positive. So I'm going to have a plus and a plus. And in this case, it's going to be 1 and 2 because 1 times 2 gives me the 2 at the end. And if I multiply that out, I get 3x. Right, let's have a look at B. First thing I can do in B is take out a common factor. So I'm going to take out 3x, which leaves me with x plus 2. And that's B complete. Now C, I can't take out a common factor there. But I can factorise this into 2 brackets, x and x. Multiply to a minus, so one of these is a plus, and one of them's a minus. Multiply to minus 35, but add to minus 2. So I'm going to have minus 7 and plus 5. And lastly, let's look at D. So, again, I can't take out a common factor, always worth looking for that first. 2x and x. Now I'm going to have a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive, and I need to multiply to minus 3, but add to minus x. So if I were to put the 1 on the right-hand side here, I'd end up with 2, and then I could have the 3 there. That would work. So I'm going to have 1, 3. Now, which way round? I'm going to want to have minus 3 x's and plus 2 x's in order to give me the minus x. So that's my answer to D. And there are a couple more questions for part 6 here. So this first one here, again, I can't take out a common factor. I'm going to need to have 5x and x. And I'm going to look for numbers that multiply to minus 6. So again, I'm going to have a positive and a negative. Multiplying to minus 6, I'm going to try 2 and 3. And I see if I have the 3 over here, then I end up with 15x's. If I could make that minus 15x and then plus 2x's, then that will give me minus 13x. And lastly, f. Right, again, I can't take out a common factor first. Now, I need to multiply to minus x squared, so I better have a plus x and a minus x. I need to multiply to 6, so that's going to be 2 and 3, or 1 and 6, of course, but I need minus 5x's. So if I were to put a 6 here, I'd end up with minus 5x's, and put a 1 there gives me plus 1x to give me minus 5x's altogether, and of course my 6 times 1 holds true for this 6. So that is question 6 complete. Question 7. Again, I'm factorising. I'm going to start by looking for a common factor. I can take 2x out, leaves me with x squared plus 3, and I can't factorise that any further. Now let's have a look at b. Again, I'm looking for a common factor. I'm going to take out an x, leaves me with x squared minus 36. Now, I see x squared minus 36. That's the difference between two square numbers, isn't it? The difference of two squares. So I can factorise that to x plus 6 and x minus 6. Okay, now let's look at part C. I'm going to write it down here. 2x cubed plus 7x squared minus 15x. Well, just in writing it down, I can see I can take out a common factor of x. Leaves me with 2x squared plus 7x minus 15. So now I'm looking to see if I can factorise that any further. So let me copy down the x. If it can factorise, it's going to go into two brackets. I'm going to have a 2x and an x. I'm multiplying to minus 15. So I'm going to end up with a plus in one bracket and a minus in the other. Let's have a look. So if I were to look at putting plus 5 here, then that leaves me with 10 x's. And then I could put minus 3 here to minus 3 x's from that to get the 7. And that still gives me minus 15 at the end. So that's number 7 complete. Number 8. Okay, in part A, I'm going to do 9 divided by 3 is 3, and x cubed divided by x to the power of minus 3. Well, I'm going to subtract those indices, so it's 3 minus minus 3, which is 6. So it's 3x to the power 6. Now in part B, I've got 4 to the power of 3 over 2 to the power of a third. Let's just think what that means in the bracket there. 4 to the power of 3 over 2 means 4 to the power of a half cubed, and then I'm finding the cube root of that. Well, the cube root of something cubed is just going to be the something. So I'm just left with 4 to the power of a half, so the answer is 2. Let's look at C. 3 times 2 is 6. Now I'm going to add these indices. Minus 2 plus 4 is 2. And lastly, D. I've got 3 divided by 6, which is a half. X to the third divided by x to the power of 2/3. I'm going to subtract those indices to leave me with x to the power of minus a third. And that is number 8. Question 9. Part A, I've got 8/27, and that's to the power of 2/3. So that's going to be the cube root of that fraction squared. Well, the cube root of the fraction is 2/3. If I were to square that, I get 4 over 9. Part B, I've got the fraction 225 over 289, and that's the power of 3 halves. So I'm going to square root it first. Square root of that fraction is 15 over 17, but of course I get 2 answers to a square root. And now I'm going to cube that. So if I cube plus 15 over 17, then I get 3,375 over 4,913. And if I cube minus 15/17, I get minus that. So I have 2 answers, plus or minus that fraction. And that is question 10. Right, so part A, I've got 3 over the square root of 9 times 7. So that's going to be 3 over 3 root 7, which is, cancel the 3's, 1 over root 7. And I suppose it would be a good idea to multiply top and bottom by root 7 to rationalise that denominator, which will give me root 7 over 7. Okay, part B. Right, part B, I've got the square root of 20, which I'm going to write as the square root of 4 times 5, plus twice the square root of 45, which is 9 times 5, minus the square root of 80, which I'm going to write as 16 times 5. So I can pull out that 4, gives me 2 root 5, plus if I pull out the 9, I get 3, 2 3s are 6, root 5, minus 4 root 5. So if I collect together those root 5s, I've got 8 root 5s minus 4 root 5s, gives me an answer of 4 root 5. And that is question 10.